Hello there, this is Kenneth Wong, Senior Editor for Desktop Engineering Magazine. There is a growing pool of 3D models coming online every day, partly driven by professional and hobbyist communities like GrabCAD, 3dvr.com and 3D Content Central, and partly driven by catalog parts suppliers who want to let you download 3D models. But just like content on the internet, having more to choose from only makes it harder to navigate to exactly what you need to find. Looking for a 3D model is quite different from looking for, say, news stories or JPEG images. This is where the emerging shape-based search tools become much more important. The one we'll be looking at today is called CADseek from a company called iSeek. Now in this first example, we are using CADseek to do a simple web search for models from Killhauer, a seating furniture supplier. CADseek's crawlers, as they're called, have already queried and indexed many of the publicly available 3D content repositories, so you have the advantage of faster search results and returns with that. What you get here is a series of 3D models, all somehow associated with Killhauer. Move into the Navigator tab and you'll find yourself in a 3D navigation space with all the models you found floating in the back, and instant thumbnails as you roll over the items. Something interesting happens when you pick an item. You see its family members and relatives, as it were. These are other items that are related to the geometry and the shape of what you're looking at. In other words, even if the items are not explicitly tagged as chairs or chairs from the same brand by the one who have uploaded those files, CADseek can deduce these same items are somehow related based on the profile, geometry, and feature similarities. Here is iSeek CEO Abir Kamhaya talking about the technology behind her product, CADseek.
What differentiates CADseek from other technologies that have come to the market recently is that our coding and classification algorithms are fully automated based on geometry and based on a completely mathematical approach. We don't work by predefined classifications or rules-based hierarchy, and we're not in any way based on a training algorithm that is related to artificial intelligence. But in addition to all of that, our input data and our coding scheme does not thin down the shape content, the geometry of the parts we're coding and classifying. So we don't try and slice the object. We do not try to thin it down into skeletons, and we certainly do not try and depend on extracted views or profiles to bring down the difficulty or the complexity of the geometry coding problem to the 2D domain where it can be attacked. We take the full geometry content with its full richness and feed it into our mathematical coding algorithm. And then the code becomes an exact correspondence of the true 3D content that the shape owns. And then once we have completed the encoding of the geometries of those data sets, then we perform the automated classification.
Assuming you know what you want, in this case a 3D model of a chair from Killhauer, you can go straight to the vendor's site and download it, of course. But as you can see, the search and locate process and even the preview process is very different. Geometry search or shape-based search is particularly useful if you're confronting not just a few dozens but hundreds of results In such cases, if you're not using a geometry-based search method, you'll have to rely on the one who has uploaded to properly tag them with text descriptions, metadata, brand name, and so on, so that you can easily navigate those results. Not so with something like CADseek. Let's also take a look at the logic with which the results are shown, or the order in which they are displayed to you. What you get here is a sort of the nearest family members at the top kind of navigation system, going down to parts that are increasingly different from the original item you have selected. Now this gives you a way to search for similar items based on geometry itself. If you have a part in your company library, for instance, and you want to see if there are similar ones, CADseek gives you a way to open up that model, then query the company database to find and locate similar parts created by your colleagues, maybe created by you and you have simply forgotten about it, or created by people in the company you have never ever met. When you choose to display your results, there is also a way to reduce the number of items displayed by further pre-screening what comes up on your screen and what doesn't. In the more advanced function of CADseek, you could actually do some minor modifications on a part using the built-in viewer. Now you're not doing permanent damages to the CAD model itself, but you're simply creating temporarily a new part. At any rate, once you have created that new part, you can search for similar items based on that new part that you have spontaneously created. iSeek CEO Abir again, telling us about what to look forward to in the near future.
My opinion is that the creation of CADseek's technology with its fully automated coding and classification algorithms that operate on shape, no matter what shape is, that's a very important point, that it has to be absolutely comprehensive in its domain of application. The creation of such technology is an enabler to allow more groups to feel that if they put their content out on the web, that it will be useful, because then there is a system, a tool that will be able to search for it and find it, and in doing so, it serves its purpose. The purpose could be identifying a customer that's looking for a supplier part, or it could be as simple as a household that's trying to look for a replacement faucet in their kitchen. Before the creation of this type of technology, uploading that type of content by the different groups that make it was useless. But the creation of this technology makes it a valid way of advertising for their capabilities and an easy search and retrieve way for the consumer or the customer that's trying to connect with such capabilities.
I want to thank iSeek for putting in generous time and effort to work with me to produce this video demo. Until next time, this is Kenneth Wong reporting from somewhere in the middle of such results.